The streets of Istanbul. The sun was high over Istanbul. The city was loud, cars, horns, and people shouting in the markets. Amir stood outside his new shop, Freedom Motors, now one of the biggest motorcycle parts suppliers in Turkey. Years ago, he was just a mechanic with dreams. Now, trucks came every week from all over the country, bringing parts, engines, and tires. His small garage had become a business. He still loved the sound of engines. The smell of oil and metal was part of him. Sometimes, late at night, he stayed in the workshop, cleaning a motor, fixing something small, just to remember where it all began. One evening, his phone rang. "Amir," a soft voice said. He smiled. "Elena?" "Yes," she laughed. "I just landed in Istanbul." Amir's heart beat faster. He hadn't seen her for a long time, since Bolivia. They met in a small cafe near the Bosphorus. The evening lights reflected on the water, and boats moved slowly across the sea. Elena looked beautiful. Same kind eyes, long blonde hair, wearing a white jacket and a scarf. "You built all this?" she asked, looking at the photo of his workshop on his phone. "Yes," Amir said. "It wasn't easy. But I made it." Elena smiled. "You always do." They walked through narrow streets filled with music and smells of kebab and coffee. For a moment, Amir forgot about business, money, and speed. It was peaceful. But deep inside, he still missed the thrill, the sound of engines, the rush of danger. That night, after dropping Elena at her hotel, Amir rode his black motorcycle through the streets. The city lights flashed on his helmet. The roads were empty. Then, from a side street, another biker appeared, engine roaring, neon lights glowing. A signal, a challenge. Amir smiled under his helmet. "Let's race," he whispered. They started fast. Tires screamed. The wind hit his face. The city became a blur of color, red lights, bridges, tunnels. Amir leaned low, passing taxis and buses. The other rider was good, fast, almost too fast. But Amir was better. He knew every corner, every turn. They raced across Galata Bridge, past the mosques, through the empty industrial streets. Finally, Amir stopped near the docks. The other biker stopped too, took off his helmet, a young man, maybe 20. "You're crazy, man." He laughed. Amir grinned. "Maybe. But it feels good to be alive." Later, back home, he parked the bike and looked at the city lights from his balcony. Istanbul was alive, just like him. But his heart still wanted something more. He missed the road, the unknown, the sound of wind and danger. A week later, while Amir checked some new deliveries in his warehouse, his phone rang again. This time, the number was from abroad, China. He answered. "Hello." The voice was deep, familiar. "Amir, it's me, Jian." Amir froze. Jian was an old friend from his travels in Asia, a man who had helped him years ago in a small race in Vietnam. "It's been a long time," Amir said. "I need to see you," Jian said. "I'm coming to Istanbul. There's something important. Something I can't explain on the phone." But before Amir could answer, the line went silent. A strange noise, and then nothing. The call ended. Amir tried calling back, but no signal. Just static. He stood there, phone in hand, heart pounding. Jian sounded nervous, maybe scared. Something was wrong. That night, Amir couldn't sleep. He sat in the garage, next to his favorite bike, the red Ducati he had rebuilt himself. He turned the engine on for a moment and listened to the sound. He remembered Jian, the man who once said, "If you ever get lost, follow the sound of engines. They will lead you to your truth." The next morning, Amir called Elena. "I might have to travel soon," he said. "Where?" she asked. "Asia." Her eyes showed worry. "It's dangerous there." Amir smiled. "Danger is my old friend." He looked once more at the photo of his workshop, his success, his peace. But peace never lasted long for him. Somewhere in Asia, his friend was in trouble. And Amir knew, his next adventure was about to begin. The airplane touched down in Shanghai at night. Neon lights painted the city red, blue, and gold. The air was heavy with rain and smoke. Amir walked out of the airport with his black travel bag, his leather jacket still smelling of engine oil and Turkish coffee. He looked around, the noise, the lights, the speed. It felt like another world. The next day, he wandered through the old industrial district, broken windows, graffiti, and echoes of engines. Behind an old repair shop, he found a young man working on a motorcycle, a Yamaha 600, black with silver lines, dusty but alive. "Is this for sale?" Amir asked. The mechanic looked up. "It was," he said with a tired smile. "Belonged to my brother. He stopped racing last year. Too many accidents." Amir touched the bike gently. The metal was cold, but he could feel its power. "I'll take it," he said simply. The mechanic watched him for a moment, then nodded. "You look like someone who understands machines. Keep it fast, and keep it safe." An hour later, Amir rode out of the alley. The engine roared to life, echoing between the wet walls of Shanghai. He smiled. The city was no longer strange, it was a challenge. He stayed in a cheap hotel near the old district. Every morning, he went to the market, asking people if they knew his friend, Li Wei. No one did. But one night, while sitting near a noodle shop, he heard two men talking about an underground race. A race for money, fame, and secrets. Amir smiled. "Maybe I can find answers there," he thought. The next evening, the streets were ready. Dozens of bikes lined up under a bridge near the Huangpu River. The smell of fuel and rain filled the air. People shouted, cameras flashed, engines roared. The race wasn't legal, but it was real, fast, loud, dangerous. Amir parked his black Yamaha at the line. His black helmet reflected the city lights. The other racers looked at him, a foreigner, new face, confident eyes. One man stepped forward. He had short silver hair, a white jacket, and a calm smile. "First time here?" he asked. "Yeah," Amir said. "Name's Amir." "I'm Chen," the man replied. "Don't blink. You might miss the road." They both laughed. Then the signal came, green light. Engines exploded with sound. Tires screamed on wet asphalt. Bikes flew forward like bullets. Amir leaned low, his eyes sharp, his heart wild. The race was fast and brutal. They crossed narrow alleys, bridges, tunnels filled with smoke. Rain hit their visors. Neon lights flashed across their helmets. One rider crashed. Another lost control and disappeared into the dark. Amir pushed harder. His bike roared, engine crying in the night. Chen was just ahead, smooth, focused, perfect in every turn. Amir tried to pass him near a corner, but Chen blocked him with a sharp move. The crowd shouted. Sparks flew as metal touched metal. At the last curve, Amir drifted perfectly, almost side by side with Chen, but the local racer was faster. Chen crossed the line first. Amir finished just a second behind. The crowd screamed. After the race, Chen took off his helmet and smiled. "You're good," he said. "Very good." Amir laughed, breathing hard. "Almost beat you." "Almost," Chen grinned. "Come tomorrow. We have more than just races. Maybe I can help you find what you're looking for." Rain started to fall again. Street lights reflected in the puddles, red and gold. Amir looked up at the sky. The sound of engines still echoed between the tall buildings. For the first time since he arrived, he felt hope. He didn't win, but he had found something better, a friend, and maybe a clue. The next morning, Amir met Chen at a small tea shop near the river. The smell of jasmine and wetwood filled the air. Chen sat by the window, calm as always, his silver hair shining in the daylight. "You ride well," Chen said, pouring tea into 2 cups. "But I think you came here for more than races." Amir nodded. "I'm looking for my friend. His name is Li Wei. He called me from here, and then the line went dead." Chen was silent for a moment. His face grew serious. "I've heard stories," he said quietly. "People disappearing. Not only racers, workers, students, even tourists. The police say nothing. But I know people who might know." They left the tea shop and walked through the narrow streets of the old town. Neon signs buzzed over their heads. Motorbikes moved like insects through the traffic. Chen led Amir to a quiet bar hidden behind a repair garage. Inside, smoke filled the room. 2 men in leather jackets sat at a corner table. "They know the gangs," Chen whispered. "Let me talk." One of the men looked up, eyes sharp and cold. "Chen. Haven't seen you in months." "I need information," Chen said. "About the disappearances." The man laughed. "You still play hero? Careful. Some people don't like questions." Amir felt the tension in the air. He wanted to hit the man, but Chen put a hand on his shoulder. "Easy," he whispered. After a short talk, the man finally gave a clue. "There's a cop," he said. "Dirty one. Works with the gangs. He knows where they keep the people. Docks, near the old shipyard." They left the bar. Outside, rain started again. Streets glowed with reflections. Red, gold, green. Amir looked at Chen. "You trust that guy?" "No," Chen said. "But it's the only lead we have." The next evening, they met the cop, a tall man with tired eyes and a scar across his cheek. He stood near his black car, smoking. "You want trouble," he said. "But fine. I'll help you, for a price." Amir pulled some money from his jacket. The man smiled, then took them into a dark control room full of screens. Security cameras showed streets, warehouses, docks. "Here," the cop said, pointing at one screen. "This truck. It came from the city 3 days ago. Look inside." The image was blurry, but Amir froze. A face, pale, scared, it was Li Wei. "That's him!" Amir shouted. The cop zoomed in on the truck. "They take them to Dock 14. But be careful, that's not a place for outsiders." Later that night, Amir and Chen stood on the rooftop, looking down at the glowing harbor. Cranes moved like shadows. Ships loaded containers under the rain. "So that's where he is," Amir said quietly. Chen nodded. "We'll go tomorrow. Just you and me." "Why are you helping me?" Chen smiled slightly. Let's say I hate seeing good people disappear. The wind grew stronger. Sirens echoed far away. Amir looked at his Yamaha parked below, rain shining on the black metal. He thought of Istanbul, of Elena, of the roads behind him. He was far from home, but he had never felt more alive. The next morning, before sunrise, they prepared. Chen cleaned his gun and checked a small radio. Amir tightened the straps on his jacket and filled his bike with fuel. "We go silent," Chen said. "No mistakes." Amir nodded. "Let's bring him home." The city still slept when they rode through the wet streets. The sky was gray, the air cold. The sound of engines broke the silence of dawn. Ahead, the docks, the danger, and maybe salvation. Amir felt his heart beat fast. He wasn't just chasing his friend anymore. He was chasing justice. The night was cold and silent when Amir and Chen reached the old shipyard. Dark water touched the metal walls of the docks. Big cranes stood like sleeping giants under the rain. The only light came from broken lamps and a few fires burning in barrels. Amir stopped his bike behind a container. The sound of the engine faded. "Dock 14, Chen whispered. "That's the one." They moved between boxes and rusty trucks. Voices echoed in the distance, men laughing, talking, and loading crates. Amir saw a warehouse with red paint on the door. A black van was parked outside. Inside, through a dirty window, he saw 3 men guarding the place. One of them was smoking. Another was checking his phone. And then Amir saw him, Li Wei, sitting on the floor with his hands tied. "There he is," Amir whispered. Chen nodded. "We need to be fast. Quiet." They waited for the guards to move away. Then they ran to the door. Chen opened it with a small knife. Inside, the air smelled of oil and salt. Amir's heart pounded. They reached Li Wei. His eyes widened in shock. "Amir? Is that you?" "Stay quiet," Amir said, cutting the ropes. But before they could leave, a voice shouted from behind. "Stop!" Lights turned on. 10 men appeared from the shadows, holding bats and knives. The dirty cop stood among them, smiling. "I told you," he said. "No one comes to my docks without paying." Amir looked at Chen, ready to fight. "So you sold us out," Chen said coldly. The cop laughed. "You think you can just walk in and take my business?" Then everything happened fast. Amir grabbed a metal pipe. Chen pulled out his gun. Fists, shouts, rain, chaos, the warehouse exploded with noise. Amir hit one man, then another. Chen fired at the lights, making the room go dark. "Go!" Chen shouted. "Take Li Wei." Amir pulled Li Wei toward the exit. The rain hit their faces. Outside, the path to the bikes was blocked, cars, men, and flashing lights. "We're trapped." Li Wei cried. "No," Amir said. "Not yet." Suddenly, a loud sound filled the air, helicopters. Bright lights cut through the rain. Police cars appeared from the other side of the docks. Sirens screamed. Voices shouted in Chinese and English. "Police! Drop your weapons!" The gangs froze. The dirty cop tried to run, but Chen stepped forward, pointing his gun. "It's over," Chen said. His voice was calm, steady. Amir looked at him, and suddenly understood. "You're a cop," he whispered. Chen smiled slightly. "Undercover. We've been tracking them for months. You helped me finish it." Amir didn't know what to say. The tension, the danger, the lies, everything crashed down at once. But Chen put a hand on his shoulder. You did good, brother. The next morning, the sun rose over the quiet harbor. The rain was gone. Police boats moved across the water. Li Wei sat on a bench, drinking hot tea. He looked weak, but alive. Amir stood near the bikes, watching the waves. Chen came over, now wearing a police jacket. So, what will you do now? Chen asked. Amir smiled. Maybe go home. Maybe ride again. Who knows? Chen nodded. You have a good heart, Amir. The world needs more people like you. They shook hands. A helicopter lifted off nearby, blowing dust and papers into the air. Amir watched it rise and disappear into the morning sky. He turned to Li Wei. Ready to go? Li Wei smiled tiredly. Only if you drive. Amir laughed. Then hold on tight. The engines roared. Two bikes left the dock, speeding down the wet coastal road. The wind hit their faces, the sea glittered beside them, and the world felt wide open again. For Amir, the road never ended. Every race, every risk, every friendship, it was part of the same story. And now, he knew what it truly meant to be free.
Did you like the story? Click like, subscribe to the channel, and write a comment with your ideas for new stories. Thank you for watching and practicing English with me. See you in the next video.